Is it quiet now? Well, here we are again. Uh, wasn't entirely sure I'd be doing this morning, to be honest. Been back a week off my travels, and I'd set my stall out um, when I got back from the Ols to start working on or going back over stuff that I'd created for the previous live streams and whatever other projects I've got on the go. And it's been a bad week. I've had a really bad time of it, really, to be honest. Struggling to get motivated. In fact, one of the first things that I did when I got back was spent a day playing on my stupid shoot 'em up game. So, but I did put that to one side quite quickly, and then started to go through my little spreadsheet. I've got this. Let me just go to my Reaper cam, which is just my desktop, really. So yeah, this is my. I don't know whether you can see this or not. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so morning Milo, morning Will, morning Klaus. Good to see you. Hell of a difference in the weather. It's got nice now, hasn't it? Oh, it is where you live. But we've had a good run of weather here since I've got back off my Ols. Quite rainy in Europe for a couple of days. It was good all round, but there were a couple of really day-long drenches. So anyway, this is my spreadsheet that I have. I didn't used to do a spreadsheet. I just used to do it on in a notepad file. But then this year, I thought, well, I've been using spreadsheets for years, so maybe a spreadsheet would be easier to set up. I had notes against stuff that I've been doing, what the stage is, whether I've issued it. This time I've gone and put a last touched column in to sort of like keep up to date with what I've been looking at and see if that helps. So yeah, a lot of projects really. So I'm up to, well, I'm actually up to, I think I'm up to 37 because I added one last night, but only because I updated the my labs instruments because they added a well, I can't even say the word, Uilleann pipes. It's like an Irish bagpipe, isn't it? So I updated labs and I got something going with that last night. Not very good, but I'll just put this in here. Labs. Go on. So very early. Last touched yesterday, 3rd of the 6th. So, save that. Yes. Lots of projects. Where do I start? No, it's out. Let's have a quick look at that. Might as well have a quick look at that one. Funnily enough, yeah, the Ulian, I can't say that. Ulian pipes. Ended up. So that's me. I've got. Let me just. Yeah, that's right there. Just checking me look at my levels. So yeah, they've got various. Obviously, there's various instruments. Yeah. How'd you say that, Klaus? um, Here they are. Uilleann pipes. The chanter, ornaments, piper's ascension, cellular crans. That must mean something. I'll have to Google that. I don't know what it is. Tides, drone, and regulators. Oh, and air. Air is, yeah, Klaus. You don't know what Labs is. Labs is it's Spitfire Audio's way of dragging you into the universe and making you spend lots and lots of money. And there's a lot of instruments now. I mean, if it's not so bad for me, but let's open up the Spitfire Audio app. This is what you get with Labs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48, 52, 56, 60, 61. So there's 62. I don't know why that says install. I've got it installed. It does this sometimes. And that one, I've installed it, you wally. Anyway. Yeah, so, I mean, I've got the full lot. I don't use all of them, not by any stretch. But I do have some albums that go to my Bandcamp. So, for instance, Two Cities is Nothing But Labs. And also Beach. That is all Labs. Nothing But Labs. Oh, plus effects. Yeah. So it's interesting, really. Even for ambient stuff. And what I find I do is with a lot of these is I'll just load them with effects. So let's shut that down. So that's this is the drone sound. So like a Uilleann pipe, it's a bagpipe, so it has a drone. But there is an actual drone instrument. So let me open that again. So this is actually the drone instrument. But like for instance, if I go to the chanter one. If we open that a sec. Is that too loud? Yeah, it's okay. So I should Google it really. I'm just so ignorant. Typically British. Or am I? I don't know. Anyway, so the chanter, I've turned the drone off. But if you turn the drone on, so as well as the chanter, you can bring in a drone. And it seems to be, so you don't have any control over the drone. It's a D. So let's see who's going to be first in the chat to say what mode there is. So it's all the white notes in D. But I turned the drone off because for what I was doing here, I just want. Why is it? Oh, that's right. You have to just turn that around there. So that's the drone off now. Because I've got the drone down here. D Dorian. Should remember that really well, shouldn't I? D for Dorian. Yeah, so I turned the drone off, got the drones down here. And then I thought, well, if you've got the... Oh, tell you what, I'm going to have to look this up. So, helium pipes, Wikipedia. Helium pipes. So, according to Wiki, it's just Uilleann pipes. Yeah, okay, whatever. That's that sorted. So anyway, me pipes. I'll just call them pipes. Anyway, so, well, with the Uilleann pipes, surely you would have some other kind of Gaelic accompaniment. And Labs has a sample library called Gaelic Voices. And so I had a bit of a mess with that. And I placed down some there. How many notes? So it's what one? Well, it's a major fifth apart for each one. So G, D4, A4, and then F, C, and G. And it sounded okay when I played it. If I play that progression, tell you what, let's mute that sequence is just totally oddball. And this is what I do sometimes. I'll be messing around with a synth or whatever, sample library in this case, and I go, oh, that's nice. And so I've just got this repeating like for 10 minutes while I mess about. I've even got some the guitar track I was noodling over the top of this. But I quite like that triad build-up. Yeah, it would do, wouldn't it, really? And yeah. It's that sort of thing, isn't it? Let's have a look at some other of those. No, let's not bother with that. Let's just drag it over here. And we'll whack it through reverb. Just because. Put that down there. So there are different. We'll go through some of these. So as the word suggests, let's put the keyboard on. Put the oops, wrong one because I'm a knob. Doesn't really matter what the input is. So there's a excuse me. Excuse me. Can you say knob on the internet? Oh, let's turn these off. Quite quiet, that isn't it? So, yeah, I can say anything. Well, yeah, I don't like saying stuff though. Sometimes I try not to swear. I do very well in real life. I mean, this is real life in a way, isn't it? But away from the internet, away from YouTube, I'm a foul mouth person, really. And I often wonder if I should just try to speak the same away from the internet as I do on the internet. So anyway, hold on. Okay. Right, so back to this. Just distracted there. So, hey up, Chris. So that's the R's. Ornaments. I mean, some of these I probably wouldn't use on their own. I would have to use some kind of an effect with it. That doesn't sound too bad. Ornaments, bellowing vowels. Yes. Flute one. What's the flute one, Chris? I don't know what that one is. Didn't think they had a flute one. They'd put out a flute. What do they call it? Go to sample libraries, rare flutes, originals. So it's part of the originals. So do you mean that one, Chris? I think this was about. It wasn't that much for me because I'd already bought the rare flutes in Contact. So to upgrade to the Spitfire Audio latest originals one. It didn't cost me quite so much as yeah. Let's get rid of that. Yes, I do want to delete. Yeah, because I've got a number of choirs. The choirs that I've got. So I've got some more. I've got well, in fact, there's some vocals on the Alev Lens 3. Yeah, that's what I've been faffing with. Uilleann pipes. I'm going to pretend I can say it. So yeah, I've got all sorts of vocal snippets. Let's have a look. Vocals. So yeah, that's one. Let's get rid of that as an example. And then I've got Epic Choir, which is an originals choir. It's good to blend with your own voice, Chris. If you have a voice. I'm just not a singer. I have tried actually. I'm like sustaining like these, they do ahs and oohs and ums. So I could do that sort of thing, I guess. And one of the when I did me faffing with granular just before my holidays, that was me going I think. So yeah, I can do that, but just not. I can't sing words. That's never gonna happen. So yeah, so what I'll do sometimes is I'll take combinations of my various choirs. So there's the Eric Whittaker choir as well, which is this is the major one. Come on, there you go. I mean this is a major library. This is big books. Don't know why it's always so quiet, this one. But yeah, the point is I take those libraries, sort of merge them all together in various ways, and it doesn't sound too bad. The problem with vocal libraries is very often they sound like vocal libraries and not vocals. So they take a little bit of work to make them sound not quite so false, if you know what I mean. But flutes. So where am I now? Oh, I was going through this, wasn't I? So this is the Gaelic voices one. So we were doing this, weren't we? Yeah. Cellular. So nice little sort of like inflections there or something. And I've yet to use this in any of my works, so it will happen. I do like this one actually. Wavering. I don't like. Not too sure about this one. We're probably alright with effects on them to make a drone out of, perhaps. That's me just randomly hitting keys, by the way. I have got no idea what chords are and stuff, but there you go. I shouldn't have admitted to that, should I? That sounded quite good, though. Not sure about this one. Yeah, I'd probably struggle to find a place for that. And that. I like that one. Not so sure about that one. I prefer that one over that one, because I don't like the yeah at the end, the ah. Yep. Yeah, that's right, Chris, I reckon. So yeah, but flute. Yeah, I'm not sure about a flute one. Let's have a look if they have. I don't think it would have. Would it be under woodwind? Why is Ulian pipe? Ilian. Why is Ilian pipes under woodwind? Honestly, this lab's, well, most, perhaps some of the other Spitfire audio front end is worthy of some really harsh criticism, I guess, sometimes. I mean, surely Ilian is a reed instrument, isn't it? Huh? Ilian pipes. Oh no, it is woodwind. Alright, okay. Perhaps reed instruments are classed as woodwind anyway, I guess. Saxophone. Excuse me. Oh, they've logged me out. I subscribe to Wikipedia. I give them 20 quid a week, 20 quid a year to keep going. Classification single reed. So does that mean that, I don't know, I must have misunderstood? Oh, set of reed pipe. Aerophone. Woodwind. Bagpipe. Yeah, okay, I'm getting confused here. Let's turn that off. Yeah, so that's woodwind then. But have you got anything with a flute? And the answer is no. Because a flute is woodwind, isn't it? So, Chris, what is originals? Just noticed that. What is it? Well, it's just another brand that Spitfire give to some of their cheaper libraries. And they're okay. They're usable, in my opinion. I won't be getting any more. I think I've got enough of that stuff now. But yeah, but I don't see a flute in labs. If you just scroll down there, so here's the Frozen String, which is a good library. Percussion, synth. Yeah, okay. Uh, yeah, thanks for that, Klaus. Yeah, I'm a bit confused, to be honest. Because, like, you reed instruments, like your clarinet, oboe is a reed, isn't it? Um, Gotta watch what I say here because I make myself look a right prat. But it's funny, like, because people think, well, flute, how can flute be a woodwind? But it's how it produces the sound, isn't it? Nothing to do with what it's made out of. Um, anyway, organic textures. Foghorn's a good one. Soft piano. Strings. There's trumpets of a fashion. Siren song. Electric piano. There's 62 of these we counted before, so. And all that still string the moon. So I'm not. It's pipe, organ. So many. So many. I've not had much joy with that particular choir one. I need to. I'll definitely make a go of it one day, but nothing jumps out at me. Uh, and Christmas. Oh my goodness, yeah. Don't use that one. I should probably uninstall some of these that I'm never going to use. Yeah, we used to make reed pipes out of a straw at school back in the day. No, so I can't find I can't find a flute, Chris, in labs. So I can only assume that you meant that originals. Because I wish they did have a flute. I don't like flutes. Um, that's why I bought the originals flutes. And I so like the where are we? So I've got rare flutes. Um, oh, I've got open contact. So in contact, I have um, Albion V or Tundra, as it's called. So this is a nice selection of various woodwinds and also Neo. So I was looking down here. So Albion Neo and Albion Tundra I use sometimes for woodwinds. And feathered flutes is nice as well. So yeah, that's why I was surprised to see, say, the uilleann pipes as a woodwind. So I thought reeds and woodwind were two separate classifications, but obviously they're not because um, if I open up woods, any of these woods, might have been a bad example actually. because it's a woodwind section, not individual instruments. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm out of my depth here, to be honest. So I shall leave that. And so yeah, this is my absolute latest project, which at the moment, so I did put a sequence in. So I thought, well, I've got like a traditional sort of like vocally type sound, but I want to add my slant to it, if you like. So I added a bit of a sequence. Yeah, read as a woodwind. Yeah. So this is as far as I got last night, and I was playing a bit guitar over it as well. But this is so early. I mean, I don't want to work on this today, this particular one, really. So let's get out of that. That first one, let's go through some of these. Oh, green means I've issued it and it's gone. So I'm not going to work on that one anymore. It's gone. Dead to the World ambient remix. Which is a funny one. But that first one, I suppose I wasn't. Do you think I should go through each one of these and just table them and have a chat? Or I could just go straight to the live stream ones, which are down here. So I could just go and open 24 and see where that's up to. The January ones were disappointing. I did 9 January ones before, and I uploaded them to YouTube, to SoundCloud, and they weren't private at first, but having heard them for a bit, I thought these are crap. So I made them private on SoundCloud and then took the playlist down. Well, made that private as well. So yeah, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with the January ones. It was an interesting thing to start off with, but I just found it too challenging. The whole process of just jamming something for one day. When you probably think, well, yeah, but you jam in a live stream and that sounds okay, and you're going back to that, which is fair point. But what I found with if you look at what I've got on SoundCloud for my January stuff, let's go to my January playlist. They were like 5 minutes long and like a completely finished track almost, but not really finished. And this first track, January 1, Jamo 1, it took me hours and hours to get to a point where I thought I could actually upload it. So I wasn't actually getting the principle of what January was. Yeah. And in some ways I do like this one. But when I went back to it, I was like, well, what do I do to this now? Maybe I've kind of just lost the spark a little bit, which is frustrating when you look at the amount of stuff that I've got on Bandcamp, that every now and then I come to a point where I just go and just stall completely, which is what 2023 is turning out to be. I'm just stalling a little bit, I think. So that's Jamo 1. Let's go through these very quickly. This is a modular one, I think. It was a bit too twee. So, yeah. So I was listening to this last weekend. Yeah, I don't. I know what you're saying there, Klaus. So you notice that. Let's turn that off. Yeah, I just give them a number. I never know what to call things until I've actually made it. Because I'm not writing songs. I'm not writing a song about love or whatever with lyrics. So I never know what my track naming, as you'll notice from any of my albums, are just purely based on a theme that I come up with after the fact. And a lot of them are either like these are all my Outer Space album are all objects that's in deep space, like galaxies or stuff like that. And like I think, well, yeah, Oceanids. This was all Greek Oceanid names, but I come up with these names after I've produced something. I don't listen to something and go, well, that reminds me of such and such, and therefore I'm going to call it this. I just don't know what I'm going to call it. The picture was literally just a cup of tea and some jam on the scones. That was the jam. I found this photograph on my Google Photos and thought, well, it's got some jam on it. So all my January ones had that on. So what was he up to? Can't remember, but I don't think it really matters, to be honest. I just didn't like. This is more like drony noise. All right. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna stop listening to those. Yeah, I'm not happy with them at all. So let's skip the January stuff. I should really change that. I should change the status of those actually. I should make them all early, but yeah. This is a funny one. 14. Oh, right, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's interesting. And the reason for that is I don't have my desktop audio on this particular camera. Yes. So you've not heard any of that stuff, which is not a bad thing, believe me. But what I could do, so let's have a quick look at this one. 14. No, there was yeah, what I turned off the background music. Let's turn that on. Let's go back to you'll hear it now, but honestly it's not really playlists January. So I think you'll hear this now. Only the cloud. Yeah, I'd turn my background music off. But yeah. So let's open up 14. And I'm saying this is interesting. It's kind of a bit of an odd one because it's not like it's 3 minutes long, but it uses warps. In the modular. So usual drone stuff going on. I've got 2 drone tracks muted there for some reason. Just the elements drone. And what I liked about this is it was a bit that sort of that's just so. I thought they were interesting. The problem being that I've actually ripped down the patch, obviously, and would never get it back again. But I could probably use and expand that sequence and probably add some more stuff. So there's a potential for this one. I think I might have said as much. I need to revisit and improve. So yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I need to jump on 24. So that it's really boring. I'll let this play out. I mean that would probably even pass as it is as like an interlude piece on an album or something. I don't know. This is where I'm at the minute. I'm like struggling with liking what I've done. Let's shut that down. I've not changed anything really, so. So what did it say? Look at 24. Let's open up 24. So I'm on the other screen here. And I just can't remember what this was. Because this is what did I say I'd last worked on this? 1st of March. So, yeah. I've not looked at this for a good few months. So let's just, I guess, play this and remind myself where we were up to. Okay, so the drone just comes straight in then, so I've not even looked at like fading or anything, it just like whack, just comes straight in. Actually, this would be quite loud, I just realised. Yeah, this should be clipping, because what I've not done, should have made that -15. So that should now gone quieter in the Reaper audio. But then we'll probably be a little bit too quiet now. I like round numbers. Maybe that's 7. There you go. What's that one there? Oh, I see. Oh, it's that one. Okay. I've got a guitar track here, but it might have been just. Sometimes I like to do some guitar practice over drones. Not even sure what key this is in. So yeah, sort of scope for guitar. So I'll probably leave that track in there and main noodle over the top of some of this. I've been doing a lot more guitar now in the last couple of months, so I want to definitely. The next album will be have a lot more guitar on it than usual, I think. So, if anything, this is sort of like pretty much usable as it is. Not sure. So what are these here? Oh, these are the MIDI. So. And I've muted all these. Just reminding myself what I've done here. So these are to, I think these were to create the MIDI driven audio tracks from the modular. And obviously I had the OB12 and the Nova going as well. Oh, I see. Yes, that's a bus. Right, so. Yeah, I think that was an arpeggio that I had going in the background. And then we've got the Nova is doing that sequence. Which, according to that, would have been driven by a Stepic. So I could probably hide all of my MIDI stuff, because I think that's just, it's done the business. But, so, MIDI one, so that's that, oh, that's these here, isn't it? Get rid of the MIDI as well. Just tidy that up a bit. there's only the one sequence on this one, so, and maybe one sequence is enough, and it just needs fading in and out a bit, because we don't want to listen to the same sequence for the full 10 minutes. My standard 10-minute long track. Bad habit I've got into there, I guess. So let's concentrate on these one track at a time. Oh yeah. So that doesn't need to come in straight away, does it really? Yeah, I should. Yeah, and I've turned on. Let's go to my. I've actually turned on my modular. It's just eating up power, wasting electricity. Just in case I need to use it, I've not turned the top one on, but I've got the bottom and the middle case on. So if I do need to add stuff, I could. But what I'm thinking is, because everyone says less is more. Less is more. Just don't overdo stuff. So I've already got quite a few tracks. Oops. Yeah. With various bits and pieces going on. So if I do add anything to this, then yes, guitar is a candidate, because I've already got the track there ready to add some guitar on. And it would be say another 1 or 2 sequences on top. Just let me have a think about this now then. So I mean, from a gain staging point of view, I'm happy with the sort of like level that I'm hitting there, I think. A lot of harmonics going on. And let's have a look. So I've done the usual, adding a bit of hey up Chris Pellinor Fields, how you doing, mate? Not seen you for a while. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, so I've added some side low cut just to make the low end mono. Yeah, which I do all the time now. Although I am sort of like still messing around with, well, what frequency should I make it mono, you know? So that's still kind of, you know, I've not made my mind up on that. I could drop down the sort of like the low mids a little bit, perhaps, because it does have a lot of harmonics going on down here, which could busy stuff up a little bit in that area. So yeah, thinking about that. So I guess we don't want this to come in straight away, do we? This particular one. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to be rather drastic and take that right down and move on to the next track, because I might only bring that in, you know, a minute or two or even longer into the track. So now that's let's have a look at this is something else I've started doing as well from an audio engineering point of view. On my reverb, which I'm using Supermassive, Space is the place. Hello, Davy. Good to see you. Yeah, so what I've started doing in the last, well, for most of this year actually, is doing a bass cut or a high pass into my reverb. So I'm not adding reverb to any of the bass. And again, it's kind of up for grabs at the minute. It's where do I place this this band? But let me just bring that up again, because what I was wondering there, with that playing away there. Oops. Come on, stop it. Yeah, I suppose, because it's not a brick wall, so there is still some bass getting through, although we're only looking at, according to that, minus 60 dB, so it's, you know, it's probably not a lot. I could try and increase that slope to cut that out even more, perhaps. And actually, there's a thing, because what I should really do, if I'm doing that with the reverb, the problem is I've got the full amount of that bass going through to timeless. Oh no, so it's still, no, I should still be okay, shouldn't it? Because I've got, that goes to the reverb. Yeah, so that's what I'm just bullshitting here, just to bear with us. Just let me, I'm just thinking, I mean, I could probably just lower the send to that by a couple of dB. Anyway, enough of that. So let's take that down altogether, and I'll think about where I bring that in. And really, what I realise on when I'm looking at this now is I've not named these very well. I should really call that bass sequence, shouldn't I? And what I sometimes do is I add dividers for drone elements and for sequence elements. So let's do that. Let's call that drone. I'll add another track. It doesn't matter which one I put in here. It could be, let's make it, so just get a different color. Let's see. Oops. Oh yeah. There you go. So let's move that up here a bit. Probably all the way to there, because the Nova audio was a sequence, wasn't it? Oh, tell you what. And guitar isn't a sequence. So what would I call that? Track. Insert track from template. These are all, anything with div is a divider. I've already got a MIDI one, haven't I? So I could Put another one there. Just change the colour. Not that one. Not that one. That one. Yeah. I'll have a think about what I call that later. So we've got drone elements, we've got sequence elements. So really that one could go with going up there. Let's call that base sequence 01. And what I should really do then is because I like these to be the same as the track name. I don't want to. Okay, so now we're getting. This is just housework, really, I suppose. Just save that. So that's the base sequence out of the way. So let's go back to this. What's this next one here? Oh yeah. What on earth's that? Got the tune on here. D. Okay, roughly. Let's get rid of that tuner. We don't need that. That's alright. I get rid of all my tuners once I've done the tuning bit. Look at that low end there. I mean, that's not what Hampshire's coming through, but I just thought I'd do that. Again, monoizing my the bass level, the bass frequency, should I say. That's going to be mono with a side high cut. Hey up, Bertie. That's okay, mate. That's okay. Do appreciate you popping in for a quick look. Love that new icon of yours, Bertie. It's a crack of that. Yeah, it is. It is. It is quite a mountain. And again, I'm just gonna around about there. I'm just gonna drop down some of those harmonics. Not much. I'm gonna go back to that. So this is really a water tubes. So water tubes. Now then, is that an audio thing, or are you fixing something in the house? So are you doing some plumbing, or is it water tubes that you play to get sounds out of? I'm interested. Either way. Yeah, let's call this what it should be. So we'll make this bass drone 01. Sorry, Bertie. Oh yeah. Bass drone 01. While I'm here, let's copy that and then save that. Pipes, yeah. Go to that. Apply. So that's me bass drum. Not Ilian. Am I saying that right now? Um, I've explained this before. I've got K in front of all my stuff, so all my file names have K in front of it, and there's a reason for that. So you're a busy man then. I mean, working on water pipes, that can be quite scary, can't it? Because plumbing can go seriously wrong sometimes, and then it's like, oh my god, and you've got to call in the experts to come and fix something. I've been there before. Right. Yeah, so I put K at the front of all my files that I want to keep, because eventually what I'll end up with is a load of recordings that I end up not using. I just find it easy to clean up afterwards. Anything that has a K in front of it, K just means keeper. K for keeper. So all the K's will all be sort of like together, and anything that isn't a K, if I can't see it in here, then I just get rid of it. That's why I use that method. Works for me. Oh no, let's get rid of that because I've already done it. So yeah, bass drone. Let's add a volume automation to that, which is what I'll do with a lot of these now. I just need to suss out where I bring this in. And with it being a drone track, then yes, the drones will just need to fade in. So then how long do I get it to fade in? I guess. So let's... I've got to fix me hand scroll. At the moment I'm using this to zoom and stuff, and hand zoom. I've broken it. I've broke my Reaper. It doesn't work anymore. And there's a reason for that, but it's lost in the anus of time. Okay. So yeah, let's zoom in a bit more, because I'm looking at the amount of seconds here, roughly. That's at measure at the minute, so let's make that 16th for what it's worth. So simple as that. Bit of automation bringing the volume up. Bring it a bit faster. And I generally fade stuff out quicker, slower than I fade it in. So let's go up the other end. Add a couple of nodes down here. So I'll probably let it fade out for a good 15 seconds or so. Except the plumbing. Yeah. You got to trust that to the pros, haven't you, really? Plumbing and electrics. Yeah. Oh my goodness. In some ways, I guess I'm lucky to still be around. You shouldn't, yeah, you shouldn't really you shouldn't mess with the electrics, but sometimes trying to get a professional in to do something, you can't get them to come in to just plug some. Yeah, I just want to. I've got a new electric cooker. Can you come and wire it in for me? Oh well, I only do like big jobs. All right, okay, whatever. I'll do it my freaking self then. Yeah, okay. So I want to, because parts of this bass drone goes to reverb, so you need to fade it out in such a way that the reverb tail drops off to a certain level. So you see there's just too much tail on that reverb. But there is another way of what I can do is if I don't want that fading out too much, another thing you can do is put on the send envelope, send volume. Yeah, I shouldn't admit to working on electrical stuff myself online, should I? I'm kind of competent. I've been doing it a long time, but I say to me lads, don't you do this. It's just not worth it. So yeah, I'm gonna take the send down probably a little bit sooner to the reverb, so that'll help with the reducing the tail. It's just a long tailer, isn't it? Yeah. What people do, eh? Just get away with murder. Um, maybe I'm being a little bit too anal on the on this, but I do like to. Let's go back a little bit. When I'm working on stuff like this, especially on drones, I like to get the end of the track sounding something near, so that I'm not having to faff around with it all later on. So I was on a track by track basis. On the drones, I will try to get get it to fade into nothing. Now I'm not. I like the reverb. I like the long mushy because it's just that's. I just like it. So I'm not gonna change the reverb. Although I mean, what I have done in the past, I've eccentric, yeah. Um, eccentric. I mean, it's a bit scary though, isn't it, Chris? Because it's people's lives. Um, I mean, you've obviously heard, I would have thought, on the news about what's gone over here at the moment with the on a much bigger scale. I mean, we're talking complete high rises being fitted with dodgy insulation. And when you go back over the records, it's just people going, "Oh yeah, but this costs a bit much. Let's put this insulation in. It's a bit cheaper, but it'll be okay." And yet it's not okay. And then people die because of it. It's like WTF, man. Anyway, so yeah, this I'm not going to change the tail on this reverb. So I need to get the tail naturally decaying and therefore reducing the amount of energy that goes into the reverb. So bear with us. So, I mean, it sounds quite low. I mean, there will come a point where I'll just go, no, that's fine. That because this stuff down here, all look, because I've got this coming down too low in a way, -90. I think you stop hearing stuff at around about -60 something. Just reading you anything there, Chris. Yeah, yeah. It's just it beggars belief, doesn't it? It beggars belief. Um, so let me just try. One good creative thing about reducing sends to reverb is it changes the space that the sound is in. So that sometimes works quite nicely creatively. But yeah, let's be drastic on this. Let's fade that out. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Right, okay. I've just had a notification. I don't know whether you can see it on my screen. OBS has disconnected and reconnected. So I don't know whether... I'm just looking at me live stream on my laptop because I can see this. Did anybody notice any dropout? Well, it must have done because OBS stopped. Because I noticed there's a little sort of like green rectangle in the bottom left-hand corner of OBS. Bottom right-hand corner, should I say. And that had gone red. And the kilobytes per second rate had gone right down to 0. But I think we're okay now. Wave your hands if you can still hear me. I'm still on YouTube. I'm just going to type a quick message. Because it's all gone quiet. Hello? Okay. Thanks, Chris. Yeah. Well, I was a bit worried there because, yeah, I definitely had a problem with OBS. So it must have dropped out for people. Don't know how long for, like. Anyway. Right. So where was I? Alright, cheers, Bertie. So let's just double check on this. Yeah, that is a long tail. But I'm not going to change that. Delay. Feedback. Actually, that mix, that's wrong, isn't it? That should be 100% mix. Didn't notice that before. My goodness. I probably have just changed that there instead of adding an EQ. I just like to see the EQ. Okay, so let's try that again. So it's not quite, and again, I don't want to change that reverb. Let's go back another bar for all of these. And then this is it now. I'm not changing this again. This will do it whether or not. Yeah, see that there. So, let's go on to the next one. So what's this? Oh yeah. So not sure what to class this under. It's not a sequence. I think this was done with the Distinct EX resonator algorithm, if I remember rightly. It's just. I'm going to come back to this one because what I might end up doing with this is actually chopping it up into bits and then placing the hits where I want them afterwards. So I'm going to come back to this, but what I will do, I'm going to move that up to this section here for now. So let's go to this one here. So this is another drone. I've got no, let me have a look. I mean, well, it's not, what are we on there about? Just over 100 hertz. So where my old cog's turning over, I'm just thinking, do I need to add a side low cut on this one? And I could do, I guess. Let's just copy that over there a sec. So just make the fundamental mono, and then bring that up there. For what it's worth. So let's call this, I won't call it bass drone, we'll call it just ordinary drone 01, I suppose. And maybe on this one we don't. I think I'll add a send as well, actually, while we're at it. Send volume. Let's bring that other one in. So we'll hear them both in context. The bass drone and this first drone. So where do we have that coming in? There. So let's go. Ching. And I've reduced the. What I like to do is leave that up at, and if it's too loud, I'm going to leave that up at like 0. So once it gets to there, it's at 0 dB. But if it's too loud, I will bring the clip volume down, just so that most of my faders are up here. Yeah, gain staging. At least I think it is. Don't take anything I say with or do take everything I say with a pinch of salt. So yeah, let's bring that down. So we'll have this fading in a little bit more gradually than the bass drone. So overall, it probably is a little bit too loud, and what was that fader at? Was it about -4, wasn't it? -4. Nice round numbers. Was quite drastic that, but yeah, it's just the way Reaper works. So as you drag this further down, well, how far can I drag it down? You can still go down to infinity, but yeah, make that -4 anyway. Again. Excuse me. So what I'm mindful of here as well is, so I'm playing these both together now. Go to my settings. Now I've set the slope to 3 degrees, or sorry, 3 degrees, 3 dB per octave. That's what it is, isn't it? The slope being, let's have a teaching moment. You probably all know this, but it might be worth saying. This slope, if you look it up on the interwebs, it can be, I think the default, Span's default is 4.5 dB per octave, and that's generally considered to be like a good overall indication of, basically it's where all these so you know, if I alter that slope, you see how it alters the slope of the analyzer. Yeah. So yeah, if you double click on it, it defaults to 4.5. The reason I set it to 3 is because there's a general consensus now that we should all be mixing and getting the peaks against a pink noise source. In other words, none of these peaks should appear above pink noise. Hold on a sec. I'm not sure if I'm wanted or not. No. And I've got no messages on what's the names, so yeah, I must be hearing things. So if I had a just let me go off on one here for a minute. It shouldn't take long. I'm going to add a pink noise source. So the tools, tone generator. It's not tone generator. It's where are we? Oh, there you go. Pink noise. So what? It's not coming through because I've got these on solo. But what some guys were saying was that we should mix with a pink noise sample in the background, and what you do is you bring the level of each track up so that you can just hear it poking above the pink noise and then drag it back down again. And I had a go at this, and to be honest with you, pink noise just set my tinnitus off something rotten. So I thought, no, I'm not messing around with that. So let's bring that volume down a little bit because it's going to get annoying. So I mean, how you can mix with that rubbish in the background? Because yeah, and if you bring this up to a level where it starts to cover them peaks, it's like, what? How on earth can you mix to that? It's just ridiculous. So, but one thing you will notice is, and this is a generally known fact amongst people in the know, pink noise appears flat in your analyzer if it's set to a slope of 3 dB per octave. Cheers, Milo. Yeah, no worries, mate. Have a good weekend. Cheers, mate. Yeah, pink noise. So what I do, and what I've started doing is I've gone, well, okay. So let's turn that off. If pink noise is this 3 dB per octave, then what I'll do instead is I'll set my analyzer to that and then watch where things are in general. But it's a bit more complicated than that, because what I've also found is that I still don't like some of the higher frequency resonances going above a certain level. So anyway, let's go back to, let's play the track and see where this is and see how it affects what I've got on the go. So there's the other. Oh, I just noticed that. Why isn't that up? Oh. Oh, wait a minute. Oh. Ah. So that's at 0. And is it 0 down the other end as well? It wasn't at 0 at each end. It was like a slight slope on that. Anyway. Yeah, it's for reference, but I can't mix with it constantly there. It just hurts. Yeah, I guess you can do that. But what I say is, well, if I imagine, because I mean obviously there's, let me bring the whole, there you go. So this is everything unmuted. So I'm letting this build up a little bit. Now it could be, so let's say that bass hump there is way too loud. So let's bring that down by what, roughly? Let's say we wanted to get it about the same as this. So we'll be talking around about, I don't know. So that's 33. That's 26. Yeah, that's quite a hefty drop there, isn't it? I mean, what I could do is go, well, let's pick and so I've done this in the past. So let's pick a point on the analyzer, say -30, and get everything hitting around about -30 max. And then at the end, once I start looking at my lofts level, I can just adjust that to suit, and then it'll be wherever it is on here. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know what you're saying, Chris. I know what you're saying. I mean, there's so many ways you can gain stage. So I'm like doing it on the clip, keeping me sort of trying to keep your faders at 0. I could use the output level of my EQ, or you can add a volume plugin. Like a volume trim. Yeah. But my preference at the moment is to change the clip level. So there's still, I mean, yeah, there's still a lot to do here. So if I use the bass drone as my sort of like max level at the 30, technically I need to bring everything up to that. But what I've found is that sometimes some of the lower level, so what's causing some of that stuff down there? Probably the tail on the probably the not the tail, could be the reverb. Let's go through each one of these. It's not that one. Let's mute the reverb a sec. That one. So it's that particular track that's probably producing that higher end. Now if so let's boost that up to like the -30. Let's find out which one it is in here. Hold on. There you go. I mean, it's nowhere near 30. But if I bring everything else back in, so I'm thinking, how does it even work? It's like this principle of everything matched to pink noise. It's like, well, it doesn't work for everything, so you've still got to use your ears and go, no, that's too loud, I'm going to bring that down. Do you know what I mean? So I've reset that back to 0, and I might, I think this is probably a candidate for. In fact, what I could do is let's raise it by. All right, cheers, Bertie. Let's boost this by a little bit, because what I could do. Hey up, Mr. Logan Sweeney. Hello there. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, so I'm not going to worry too much about the pink noise thing or getting everything up to this whatever level. For some of it, I'm going to just use my ears and say, well, that's just too loud. But this particular track, the Desert Wind thing, I mean, I've added this only to give a bit of energy around about the, the 3 to 10k sort of area, and it just keeps coming in and out, doesn't it? So it's just to like provide a little bit of interest at that sort of frequency level. So I still think it's too loud. We'll come back to that one. Let's come back to that one. So, but what was it now? What was that? The next one, was it? So we were doing that one there, weren't we? We were doing drone 1, weren't we? Went off at a tangent there. So that was all because of the pink noise 3-degree slope thing. No. It's just that people that you respect and trust come out with something like, but you need to mix the pink noise, and then you're thinking, oh right, okay, I need to mix the pink noise then, and it like, no. I think where it does come in is sometimes you have elements that pop over a certain, like, really sort of like drive up well above your target, and so you know that's got to come down. I think that's where the pink noise thing comes in, is to get those resonances or whatever, those elements down to a reasonable level. Anyway, I guess what I need to do then, really, let's just turn this off a sec. We didn't, or I didn't, set the fade out for this, so probably similar. Zoom out a bit. And what I end up doing, I mean, at the moment, all I'm looking at are my fade in and fade out points. What I then need to go back over with each individual track is I'll use automation to bring stuff in and out, sort of raise the level, lower the level over time, so they're just not constant through. And because I'm fading this one out quite early, I might not need to change the. Let's just turn that off a sec. I need to bring back span back up. Oops, muted that, haven't I? Let's unmute that. Wow. 3 restarts. How long have I been going now? God, nearly 2 hours. So I don't have to. I don't really need that to send one. Let's clear this envelope. It's kind of alright as it is. So let's hear both of those now. Okay, so that'll do for those two. And then the next one, so it's this one here, isn't it? Which is the noise, isn't it? And I think it's that all the way through. Oh my goodness. So I've just had another OBS disconnect message. Am I still online? Yeah. Weird. Yeah, it's not bad, is it? Let's call it that. Let's call it wind noise. No, it's modular. So it's just filtered white noise. It's simple, really. And I've already filtered it in with Pro Q. Yeah. I guess you can see in the waveform it's coming and going. So maybe this doesn't need much automation on it, but we'll see. We'll see. We certainly don't want it going all the way to the end. This isn't. Is it drone? I suppose it is a drone, isn't it? Yeah, in a way. In its constant. Or actually, what I do sometimes do is I put a divider in for FX. Insert template. Let's put this right at the end here. I know. I think I've used all my colours now. That'll do. Let's put that up there. So we've got some wind noise. Fades, yeah. So, I mean, we can probably leave this out for a good couple of bars and then fade it in. And then fade it out quite early as well. I mean, one problem with white noise, of course, is it can be so fatiguing, can't it? So you've got to be careful you don't have it going for too long. But what I could do is just some random stuff now, and I'll change. You know, sometimes I just leave this and it works quite well randomly. Just putting points down like this and changing levels. Sometimes I change them. You know, depends. A lot of this is just happy accidents. Throwing paint at the canvas, see what happens. There you go. Probably bring some of them down as well. Not all of them. Every other one, perhaps. What is the matter with well, it's not OBS, is it? It's must be my connection. Never had this trouble before. Okay, so that was, let's just probably get rid of that actually. So probably not bring it in all the way first, and then gradually let it build up so it comes in, peaks a bit higher towards the middle. I don't know. And then fades out. Let's listen to it again. I'm over me 2 hours now. That's what I was going to do. Let's have a quick. So I've done that one, and that one. 24-hour stream. I could probably do that. My wife wouldn't be very happy. See, I think that's too loud now. So I'm going to bring that down altogether. I'm going to bring that down. Let's see what that sounds like when this next peak comes. So maybe, I mean, oh, maybe that was okay at the at 0 clip level. Yeah, I think it is. Well, I want to see how this pans out, Klaus. I mean, I'm listening on my headphones for a start off. At some point, I will listen through my speakers. It will probably need to come down, or everything else will need to come up. Let's put it that way. It's going to sound louder now at this moment in time because we've got nothing else going. So I think when I start adding other elements, it will not be so loud in comparison. So that's kind of sounding okay, isn't it? I guess the windy stuff where I've got those points. So as well as the coming and going of the filtered noise in the audio clip. Oh, yeah, it will be, yeah. So, but that's why I'm aiming for around about -30. I mean, in the past, I've gone a bit lower actually, -36. And if you've got then like, you know, a couple of dozen tracks, then it all adds up. But for the moment, I'm gonna leave that there. Then as I bring other stuff in, it may be that I've got to start bringing that bass down a bit. And then I'll also be keeping my eye on my LUFS level. I mean, I'm only 2 dB off my LUFS level there. I've only got the 2 drones and a bit of wind noise going. So let's look at one more thing, I reckon. Oops, so I'll have that. What was this one? So another simple drone. But using the sort of like pink noise thing. Where are we with this? So according to that can come well up, can't it? Yeah, I agree, Klaus. Yeah, I'll definitely be adding probably even flute out. I mean, because my tracks are 10 minutes long generally, so there's scope there to have a little bit of flute and guitar call and response and all that. So that's getting up to the -30 target that I'm looking at the minute. Let's bring those other 2 back in. So that's not sounding too bad. Let's just... Sometimes I call these drones the actual note that it is. Oops, 2. That's actually, let's add some EQ. I add EQ. I mean, sometimes it just doesn't need it, but what I'll sometimes do is I'll add an EQ instance, but then not actually use it. Or I might decide that, well, actually, maybe that fundamental there is a bit too loud. So I'll do some surgical cut just on that fundamental there to get that down a bit. It depends. It depends really. But at the moment, I'm not going to touch that because it's not looking too bad. I mean, if I do any sort of cut, it might be around about there. Which I'm aiming towards getting, like, you know, the so-called smiley face thing. So let's just leave that there for now. Yeah, dynamic, yeah. Do you know something? Let's talk about that dynamic very quickly. I used that a lot when I first discovered it on Pro Q3. I used it a lot, and then one particular project I was working on, I was having all sorts of problems in nasty sounds. I would use it on, particularly on adaptive verb, because I'd get a lot of resonance on an adaptive verb, and I'd end up with, you know, a dynamic on that, and so strong one. There you go. And another one on that dynamic, like that. And I'd end up with sometimes, you know, 10 bands where I'm trying to so-called tame individual peaks. This is probably a bad example, but just for the sake of putting something down and showing the dynamic element of Pro Q3. But it wasn't working. There was something wrong. There was something not working for me. And when I turned off the EQ, the problem went away. So I thought, what's happening here? There's something I don't fully understand about dynamic EQ. And so I've stopped using it for the time being until I know more about it, really. So, oops, yeah, let's put that one back there. But yeah, dynamic, and I am aware of it. I've also been experimenting with sidechain as well into Pro Q3, which is interesting. But not for this project, but for one of my projects I have been doing that. So we can have a look at that when we get to that one day, perhaps. So, oh, that's what I was doing, wasn't it? Let's just change this. No, it's really for, I mean, drone work is a little bit odd in a way, because of the nature of a drone. You don't have a lot of peaks necessarily. It's hard to explain, but hey Mike, dang time zones, yeah. Cheers for dropping in, mate. I'm running over a little bit here, so you were lucky to find me actually. I'm surprised Val isn't busting the door down and telling me to get out. We've got things to do this afternoon, so I'll have to dive up in a little bit. I'll probably give it till 1:30 here, which is another sort of 20 minutes, less about 18 minutes actually. Yeah, so yeah, so drones, I find that I don't have so much trouble with resonances with drones. necessarily, and more to do with like individual melodic hits, that sort of thing. So, I mean, it's quite an uninteresting drone at the minute, and what I'll probably end up doing is similar to the wind. Let's bring the wind in. Yeah, so where's the wind? Down here. So like I've added that volume automation, I will do the same. For instance, let's just do that quickly on drone 2. Let me just change this before I forget. Housekeeping 2. And then let's add, okay, that's the other thing. Yeah, let's quickly, I need to add some volume automation, because what I've not done is, and let's make this something that I finish off before I close the stream today. Let's just minimize those, we'll expand that one. I'm just guessing this at the minute, so that's fading in probably a little bit too late. Let's bring that over here a bit. Yeah, and so back where were we level wise with this? It can probably go a little bit louder, this, can't it? Or we're already at +7. Yeah, okay. Let's leave that as it is for now. Yeah, but add, again, just add, you know, paint on the canvas, randomly put stuff down, happy accidents, blah blah blah. Let's have this just fade in and out, just to try and make the drone a little bit more interesting. Is that a misnomer? Drone interesting? Answers on a postcard, please. Oops, I hate it when it does that. Some things in Reaper I don't like, but there you go. It's me that I've got to sort out my shortcuts and my key modifiers, mouse modifiers, should I say. In fact, actually this one probably needs to come down here-ish. Get rid of that. Probably still a bit too loud though, so some of these little things can come down a bit. I was thinking, Davy, could do with some doom metal drone. Someday, I don't know. I am aware of Suno, just not really listened to much of them, to be honest. But I should do, even if it's just for like reference stuff. Because people, you know, people like that stuff, don't they? Yeah, where are we? 12:17 here. I'm compelled to find out what this one is here, and let's. Yeah, I mean that's what I'll end up doing is on the effects side. I need to start looking at things like pocket dimension, for instance, running some stuff through this. So, you know, potentially there's a lot to do still with this to make it, to add elements to it. So that's why I'm thinking, although I've turned my modular on, there is so much work I can do with these tracks with just software now. So I've got my hardware recorded, me, you know, dozen tracks or whatever. I can now just go totally into the software domain and add stuff like pocket dimension. I'm going to leave that there because that's probably going to come into the mix at some point. Let's just have a quick look at, we've probably got time to listen to, let's look at this elements one here. Oh yeah. So this is adding, we've got a clear sort of like musical element to this. So we've got a drone here going on at G#3 according to that, roughly. G#2, G#3, and then that'll be a fifth. So they're octaves, that's a fifth. That'll be an octave again above that one. So G#3, G#4, etc. That'll be an octave there, won't it? Oh no, that one there. Yeah, with those bits in between. So yeah, let's have a look at that track. What sort of, it's quite low there, isn't it? Although, no, yeah, it's okay. Let's have a look at that. Sec. Oh, look at that. So what I've done here is I've used my EQ to drop the level on this one. So let's be consistent here. I'm going to get rid of this now. I'm going to make that 0, so it's going to blow your head off. So probably still a bit too loud that. Let's take it down even further. It was -29, wasn't it? On let's make it -20. Arbitrarily. Because Elements does record hot, which is why I've now added a couple of passive attenuators on the outlet outputs from the Elements module. But it's quite a it's got quite a broad sort of frequency range on this, hasn't it? So as well as the drone element, it's got the sort of like the higher frequency stuff going on as well. And I've even cut some of that down. So I'm just listening to what the higher frequency stuff is. It's similar to the wind noise, really, isn't it, in a way? Yeah, a lot of this is, so in fact all of this stuff, well, not all of it's the modular, but it's all hardware. So there are 2 tracks on that I did with the OB12, the blue keyboard synth, and then I've got a sequence which is the Novation Nova. But other than that, everything is modular. Yeah, that's what drone is, Chris. Is I should really sample everyone mowing the lawn around here and make a track out of it. I mean, drones can be just so annoying at times. They can be hard work. So yeah, I've just basically cut all the lower end out of this. Just wanted to hear what was going on in that higher end. Because in some ways, I find this it's got too much going on. So as you've got the more sort of musical stuff with all the noise as well, and it may be that I just go, well, actually, I only want to use the sort of higher frequency elements of this. But I don't know. I'll have to have a think about that. So let's leave it. We'll put a smiley face down here a bit for what it's worth. And let's hear it in context with the other 3 drones. See, drone 2 is so quiet. And yet I've boosted it 7 dB. Let's turn another 3 dB on that. So yeah, I mean, it does. I guess it kind of works that in context. But again, need to add some volume. Automation. And again, I can just look at what I've got going on already with the other tracks. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's all context, isn't it? I guess. And there's 2 elements of noise now, because we've also got this the elements module. So let's we'll bring that in a little bit later again. Let's move you out of the way a sec, Mr. Span. Take that down to 0. Or infinity, should I say. But for me, it's with these drone things, it's the It's the volume automation that kind of starts to make the drones, or the whole drone on its own, you know, I say the drones, but the end track sound a little bit interesting. It's done it again. Keep doing that for. What's Obsidian, Davy? Is that like a notes thing, like a Microsoft Notes or something like that? I've not heard of Obsidian. Yeah, but having so much stuff, yeah, that's definitely a problem. So I've got that fading out over there now, so that should let's put repeat on so it loops around. And what time are we on? Oh, only 2 minutes left. Oh my god, only 2 minutes left. Less than 2 minutes. So that'll loop back round to the beginning. Let's add another one in there for good measure. Okay. So what do you find that's good with Obsidian compared to just using, say, Notepad, or is it the way you can actually mark stuff up? Maybe I should have a look into that. We'll have a quick chat about it on the Discord one day, perhaps. How we take notes. Wow. Oh, 12:30. So that's it. We're done. Okay, we waffled at the beginning. I waffled. And in hindsight, I should have just jumped straight on this one, which I was kind of going to do, but I wanted just to make sure that that's what I really wanted to do by looking at the stuff. Showing you my spreadsheet. So I can now update this, can't I? So we're on 3rd of the 6th. Still early, I reckon, but certainly more. Yeah, still early, because we haven't even touched the sequencing stuff yet and extra effects. Oh, right, okay, that does sound quite complex, doesn't it? Let's add another note in here. More work done during live stream 03 06 23. Okay. Save that so I can shut that down. That's that done. What I'd be worried about Obsidian is it sounds like something that would lead me down another rabbit hole. I'd probably spend more time in Obsidian than actually doing stuff, but yeah, I guess at the end of the day, it's whatever works, isn't it? And just because something's like an all featured, fully featured, whatever it is, doesn't mean to say you've got to use all the features. It's like Reaper. I'm just using a fraction of what Reaper can do. Just a mere fraction. But, so it's kind of sounding okay, I suppose. Probably still a little bit boring. Needs some more incidental elements putting in there, which I can do with the things like pocket stuff, pocket dimension, and some granular, probably some granular stuff, rather than keep turning the modular on, which seems a shame, but you know, I don't mind. It would be nice to be all hardware, but I value my software too much just to go complete hardware. And I don't have a gazillion effects pedals and stuff to call on, so I've got a couple of hardware effects pedals, but I don't use them all that much, to be honest. You'll have to just leave us a link for that in Discord, Chris. I've not heard of that one. Oh yeah, that's good, isn't it? Anyway, look. Let's save that. I'll leave the solos as they are, so I'll know where I'm up to. And this will be the track to work on, I think. So for the next live stream, I'll pick up on this again, I think. Unless, I mean, what? Let's throw this out to the floor. Whoever's left managed to stay and get this far with me. There's two things I can do here. I can carry on working on this one until it's finished. But sorry, yeah, the two options. Keep working on this one now until it's finished. Or I could each week look at a new one. Sorry, not a new one. Let's go back to me. Let's go back as an example, so I can think out loud here. So I've been working on 24. So I can either carry on working on 24, project number 24, until it's finished, or I could then next week I could work on 26 and get that a bit further, then the week after work on 27 and so on, and then go back to 24 and so on. What would be more? Hello, Bergen. No, silly. I keep getting out. Silly. How do you say that? I know you can't tell me, but I know you've been here before. I just can't pronounce that that name. But yes, greetings, and I'm about to disappear, I'm afraid. So it'll be hello, goodbye. But yeah, so option 1 or option 2 then? I didn't get to Bergen. I did go to Norway. We were in Norway to 2 weeks ago, but I only got so far up. I'm not going to show you where I went. That's going to go off on another tangent. I've really got to get off. So anyway, guys, so let me know somehow, or have a think about it for next week. I suppose I could just ask it and say, look, what do you want me to do? Carry on with 24 or go on to 26 and then start looking at that one next week. Do a couple of hours on that and so on. I'm easy either way because it's sometimes good to take a break off a particular track to work on something else. June, right, okay. But do you pronounce the J as a J? It's yeah. I'm not very good at languages. I'm not even good at English. So, but yeah, let's call it quits now, and then next week, assuming a live stream, we'll have a quick chat about what to do next. Or what I might do is I might leave another comment. Yeah, okay, Klaus. Yeah, I reckon. Ewan, yeah, I was thinking that too, Klaus. Whether the J was a yeah. Yeah. So I'll add a little comment in the YouTube section, the YouTube comments or I don't know community, and well, I'll put a bit of a poll or something in there. Ask the question and see what the feedback is on that to drive what I do the following week. But yeah, that's that went a bit better than I thought because like this time last week I was thinking I'm getting nowhere with this, and was contemplating taking a year out or something like that. But Bjorn, oh, Bjorn and Bjorn, right? Okay, I think I understand that. But anyway, thanks for coming along, everybody that's been in today and had a look. Much appreciated. And I will hopefully see you next week. And I'll leave you chatting in the chat for a bit. But I have got to go. Thank you. Thank you very much. See you soon.